From Oregon returned from Havana this week, where they took part in a series of debates with their Cuban counterparts. It was the first debate of its kind between the two nations in more than 40 years. John Treadway, a teacher who led the U.S. team, is in Ashland, Oregon this morning. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Jane. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. How did the trip go?
Oh, it went very well. It exceeded our expectations in every way.
What surprised you most about how you were treated once you got to Cuba, the reception that the students gave you?
Everywhere we went, we were treated with a friendly, generous, very nice reception. We had Cuban dance, we had basketball games, lots of hugs, and some serious debate about issues.
Let me talk to Misha Isaac, a Portland student who took part in the debate with you. Misha, good morning.
Good morning.
What was the one thing that the Cuban students wanted to know most about American kids and you?
I think that they really wanted to know what we thought about the political situation regarding the United States and Cuba, because that's really a situation that occupies every moment of every day of their lives, and they wanted to know what Americans think about that.
You also debated the Elian Gonzalez case. What did
Yes,
you all come up with as a decision in that matter?
We came to a unanimous conclusion that the case ought to go to an impartial jury. Somebody in the United Nations ought to moderate the situation in an impartial country like Sweden.
Did you feel in any way like the kids were programmed to give answers that the government might want, or did they speak freely to you about all sorts of issues?
I think that at the same time, the kids did speak freely. The government wasn't holding anything over their heads. But there really isn't a culture of dissent in that country. So, in general, the people agreed with one another. They followed the youth leaders among the group. So I don't think that anybody was requiring them to follow in line, but I think that's just part of their culture.
Hey, John, what's the biggest change you saw in your students after this trip? It's a wonderful idea, this thing that you put together.
Just the fact that they got to meet kids, it changed them forever. And I told them when we were in Havana on the last night, the thing that they need to do is to come back here and tell the truth about Cuba as they see it.
And Misha, what do you think you accomplished briefly on this trip?
I think I saw the real, tangible humanitarian impacts of what's going on with the United States embargo or the United States blockade toward Cuba.
Well, it sounds like a fascinating trip that you had, a wonderful experience.
It certainly was.
John, thanks for setting this up for everyone. It's a great idea.
Thanks, Jane.
All right, 8:03, let's go to Julie Chen at the news desk for the day's headlines. Good morning, Julie.